Hello, everyone. This is my channel, Supercoach Challenges, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be looking at a few potential swaps for the team and probably just have a look at the lineups a little bit because I think maybe this could potentially be a change for what we might do. We might look at trading Kerno out depending on where he's been playing. If he's being played in the middle, I think that's good enough reason to keep him. But if he's not, we might look to move him from there. So, uh, and we might also actually go through a few different players. We might have a look at a few different 100Ks and see if you know where they're playing and maybe what their stats are kind of going to look like. We'll actually be able to hold steady throughout the season because I think we're going to have to be trying to look to pick maybe a couple of keepers from these lower players, and there were quite a few players under 400k that were actually able to score at a quite good rate. So maybe we'll have a look into a few of the top scorers and see if their statistics, what they've done, whether it's achievable again or whether they were outliers. You have a 5 goal game or something that's kind of sets that up, or whether it was just matchup dependent, like with probably what we've seen with Brendan Cox and Hayden Young and Luke Ryan, where St Kilda were just giving away so many marks coming out of their forward line with just bombing kicks, and coming out of their back line with bombing kicks. That just made it easy for those boys to set up. I mean, with Brendan Cox, for example, do you expect him to did he break the record or at least get close to the record? Well, he had 20 marks, so do you expect him to do that every week? I would probably say in a different team, he's not doing that every week. But I mean, that's something we're going to look at. All right, so as we know, we got the Sherry issue. And something I have been now, did Pitnet get a? That's something I'm. No, he's not. Good name to emergency. So they're going with Tom DeConing. Fine. We're going to keep an eye on that matchup. But now we're going to bring in a sub of Radigalia. Now, in two minds still about this pick. So, decision being whether we drop Madden or we drop Sherry. Now, having Sherry obviously won't mean much. I don't know if it has it come out in the injury list. I guess we need to have a look at that first. Let's see if they've updated him because it will kind of give us a bit of an idea. No, he hasn't. So still to be confirmed, and I doubt they'll update this. Probably teams out to be later. What are we thinking? This says surgery. Surgery does not sound good though. So are we gonna want to hold 100k? I guess we could. I guess you know what? I'm thinking we might trade Sherry. I was liking to keep Sherry as a player there, but thinking about it, like if we're able to trade up from Sherry, like if we're gonna use a trade, which we're gonna have to, we might as well use it on Sherry and bank some money rather than on Madden and spend money. Because if at the end of the day we're gonna have to trade out Sherry anyway, then that's two trades instead of one. And Madden's got a much better loopable fixture, so I think that's gonna be what we. Sounds like it's definitely going to go past our round 3 benchmark anyway, and then he's not even relevant in this team. We'd be looking to upgrade. Hopefully, like we potentially could have kept him because he could have been a breakout this year. But I just don't think that's going to happen now. So in Radagalia, out Jerry. Let's complete that now. That puts us on the healthy 1.7 million. And Madden has the last game, which now means that we open up to whoever we want to run through as a VC option. Now, I believe we had Setterfield as captain, and then the VC is going to be very open to interpretation here. I think I'm going to want Mackenzie on. I think that maybe go against Ashcroft. There's been a little bit of talk about the fact that he might actually be a guy we want to look at trading out. proper teams. I think that's a bit of a step too far ahead. But he has another hard matchup this year. He's still in 80% of teams, so will it hurt not having on the field? Probably, but if he scores another 50 and Kenzie goes for 93, then we're probably wanting that 93, aren't we? A lot of these players make me want to see another week, like Ash, for example, GWS playing West Coast. Also, with the light midfield, you'd expect him to get some more game time in there. Wangani Malira, as we saw, had 18 disposals, 17 kicks, one handball, just didn't kick straight efficiently. So we could always see something coming out of him a bit better. Tanner Bruin now. Let's have a look at these. So AFL. Slow it down a bit. We are getting through. Jack Bowes comes in, and that would have been good to know maybe a round ago to just have him on the bench. But we'd only really need him for another 2 rounds potentially. But he looks like he could have quite a good role if he has to play, if he's taking over that Tom Stewart role. In good news for classic players everywhere, Lockie Cowan is named, and he's named in the back pocket, which isn't necessarily the best scoring spot, but he's the team around him. It's just a very nice team. Doherty, McGovern, Wiedering, Newman. I really, really like Wiedering. And I would love to pick him, but I just can't pick him for a VC. But I just don't know whether that's going to be achievable. Now, Hannah Bruin has been named on the wing, and this is where we didn't see him get that scoring. And Jack Bowes has actually been put straight in the middle, which I guess isn't surprising for anyone who knows how Bowes plays. But that's probably meaning that we're looking at Bruin maybe not getting a good role at all. Cooper White, the new debutant, they're going to start as the sub. So once again, AFL teams keeping the tradition of debuting players through the sub. Not the greatest way to. Well, it just shouldn't be done. It's just not a great way to let a player debut. I'm not sure whether being the medical sub actually counts as the game, but as a player, you'd hope to be getting a full game or at least starting, and then if you're going to get subbed out, you get subbed out. I think this guy could get done in 2 minutes at the end of the game when the game's over, and that's going to be his debut. So, not the greatest, but AFL teams are going to do what they think's best for their team, and Geelong are the premiers, so you can't argue about it too much. So we have a look at some players. We are going to filter down to 4. All right, and what we're going to look at is, I'd say the players that went. So out of the players here that I like, that went over 150, 100. I like. So I don't think Rampy does this again. I'd be very surprised. A lot of people are bringing him in. I think his ownership's gone up quite a bit. He's only up to 1. It's not that. I just don't think it. The guy has actually had some good seasons. If you look at Dane Rampy. He's also 32, nearly 33 years old. Are you wanting to bring in a 33-year-old and think he's going to score one? I mean, he's regressed ever since 2020, which is when he hit 29-30. There are people out there who are thinking it has. I've seen this come up about bringing Rampy in, and I just don't think that's the right decision to be making. I would skip on that. So he's a no for a guy we could bring in as a potential keeper. Now Pickett's out, so I'm going to skip over him. I can't believe we had him in the picture. He was in the original team, and we dropped him out because of price. But you know what? He's been banned for 2 weeks. Should be more, but lucky him, he's off. So we kind of dodged a bullet in that sense. We could have covered easily enough, but I think for now we need to skip on Kasai Pickett, and he's probably not going to make the team because by the time he's available again, we're going to be going for some better players, I think. Willie Rioli. I'd like to see what's driven Willie Rioli's price rise. Was it just him kicking goals? Did he actually have a different role? Done this at West Coast. Generally, that was him playing out of the mid. I just don't see. This is the one. Thanks. So you look at Port Adelaide's CBA attendance. So he didn't get any CBA. So it's not like it was being driven by a bit of a run through the middle. And I'm going to highly doubt he got anywhere near any. Yes. That was a dominated by Farrell, but luckily. So I was just sorry, just got to check there. So Willie Rowley doesn't look to be we want to even looking at his disposals, he had 16 disposals. Kicked 3 goals, so that kind of does drive his score a bit. 4 tackles. It just doesn't look like enough work's been. And I didn't really watch this game much. I don't know. Port's game style is just a bit so for me. But yeah, he had 1 goal assist, a couple inside 50s, 3 clangers. Like, do we think this is going to continue when they do get challenged a little bit more? I know Brisbane are one of the higher challenges, but better teams. But I don't know that this. The Rochelle. Now Rochelle is an interesting one, and I'm kind of tempted to go for it with Rochelle because he was getting the Crows didn't obviously. I think we brought last one. Crows ran a pretty interesting CBA group, so it's actually huge. And Rochelle was actually at 29%, and he did look good in there. Pros this week, they have Richmond, so that's actually probably looking at quite a good score. And I actually quite like the Rochelle pick for a classic team, 280k. But like if we look at our team, who we replace him with? That's probably be, or who would we replacing? Probably be Landers potentially on Nat Fife. I just want to see what Fife does this week. But I really think I should just trade him and go down to Shelley. I just think that Fremantle play. Fremantle have quite a good run, right? They've got GWS. Oh no, they got North Melbourne this week, and then they go West Coast, Adelaide, Gold. It's just the dream run. Like these are several of the worst scoring teams, and then he plays Western Bulldogs, who, defensively are probably going to be a bit too much for him, but they play Brisbane and then Hawthorn again, and then it gets a little harder. This is just such a dream start for him, and you just can't trade him. I don't think. And as Rochelle, Rochelle could play in the team. We could drop Fogarty for him. You know what? That does open up 150k. I do like if we drew down into his stats a bit. I don't super. We go into Josh Rochelle. He had 18 disposals, 6 marks, 3 goals. 4 attackers. So this is actually very, very similar to the profile that Willie Rioli put up. The difference being that one was in a win, one was in a loss, and one's getting CBAs and one isn't. And well, the Crows look like they're going to change it up a little. Schoenberg gets dropped out, which I could see coming at some point. That could mean more disposals, more CBAs. Sorry for Rioli. Schoenberg's got 39%, so get another 10% into Rochelle and it could be anything. And I really, you know what? I think I'm going to make the trade. I think Fogarty is a good pick. I don't think he's a good pick in general, normal, but I think that Rochelle's going to give us a little bit more scoring power potentially. Richmond's defense is going to be good. They're key defenders. This could blow up, but you know what? I reckon if we go these two for now, because the thing is right, the only way this changes is dependent on lineups, because Ben Long could look at getting dropped. I actually could look trading him, but I think he might be better. He might be easier to upgrade. So could Fogarty, to be honest. We should really just have to. We really just have to hold. The thing is, Rochelle keeps the same midfield run, and he's kicking goals. I think that he could go 90, 95, which could be what we keep. And then next week, if Fife's no good, we're probably going to trade him anyways. It's like, why don't you just trade Fife? Which is another good question. At the moment, Horn Francis, Zeeble could be keepers. And then there's Sheasel to think about. Sheasel's playing off a back line. Is it worth, bringing him in? Maybe this is maybe this is a thing of waiting another week and getting some data. I think that's what we have to do. We can't really go off of maybe 1 week necessarily, although we need points. Part about this is going to be juggling those trades. I don't want to have, we need 22 players on, right? Say we've got 2 here in Horn Francis and Zeeble that become keepers. Potentially, maybe a win. Let's say we need 20 trades. We've got 15 other trades, right? Let's say we need 5 to 6 or 7 downgrades. That only leaves us another 4 to 5 left over. Another 8 left over for injuries. I just don't know. At the moment, I would rather ride Fogarty for 1 more week. If Rochelle proves us wrong, or if Sheasel, because the problem I can see with Sheasel is they go and play him forward. I don't think they'll do that because he did look very good off the back line, and we did hear Clarko say that he wanted to be kept in the back line, but it's just one of those ones where it's kind of hard at the moment picking off one game. And I can see a guy like Ben Long moving out of the team when Lockie Weller comes back, and also when Will Powell comes back, because he looks shocking. I think that Clark's fine. I think that Hinge has got his spot. I don't see Day losing his spot, and Jimby's going to stay. So the rest of the defense is kind of looking at the players who might go out. Now, in 2 weeks, the thing is with Ben Long is that we could just upgrade him. But I'm thinking that the ruck is going to be where we upgrade first. But if we want to upgrade Madden, it's going to be 500k. Now, there is one caveat to that. So we could actually potentially trade a guy like Bruin out or Fife out next week. We could go up to a ruck. And I think that's probably where I'm going to go. If Fife or Fogarty have another bad game, I'll probably go Fogarty out and up to a ruckman. There's a few more things to play with. And radically, he can come onto our bench here, and we can play Flanders. Flanders can be played on. A lot of teams are playing Flanders, so we can play him on. But yeah, if we continue to look, Archie Perkins. I didn't watch any of this game, and it's funny that people put Perkins up as a kind of joke pick a little bit. But it does make you wonder when he does score like that, what's changed. Uh, we look at his stat line. He's had a horrible average. Now he didn't have 20 disposals, 3 goal, 3. This is against Hawthorn. Hawthorn are not a good team. Um, so if I'm you, I'm not jumping onto him yet either. Um, I would be definitely getting another round of him, Archie Perkins, because I suggest he wouldn't have got any CBAs whatsoever. So it's not like it's a CBA role. It looks like it was a matchup dependent role with who he was playing against. Now Sheasel, we all know what he did. 33 disposals, playing off the back line. I think he'll be one that we target in maybe a week. I want more data on him because I think what I was saying to my mate was that I think West Coast were making North look a lot better than they were because I think that their forward line was pretty non-existent and their midfield definitely lacked a little bit. I think that you can't take the game against West Coast and say this is how these players are going to score every week because West Coast just they look like um, they've looked like they've gone backwards over the past break and their older midfielders are kind of pulling out. Now, Stevens. Stevens is an interesting one. Always shown glimpses of being able to play like this. He didn't, but this is another one. No CBAs. Can we look at his heat map? He's just playing on a wing. Yes, that's. Uh, you go team summary. No, play summary game log. Look at Dylan Stevens. Get a heat map here. Yeah, so he's playing heavy on the wings, which isn't generally a great spot for Supercoach scoring. And they also play Gold Coast. See, a lot of these guys are coming off the matchup dependent rather than the actual uh change in role or the change in I mean there would be some natural development for Dylan Stevens, but I'm not so sure about that. I'm not going anywhere near Ben Brown, Keith Ford, other big boys down there. Like what's to say Melbourne don't just decide Grundy and Gorn is all they want and they can switch down forward and Ben Brown lose the spot. I just don't like the Ben Brown pick. Mason Wood, another one. 393k midfielder. We can let that one go through the keeper. Durham. Just seems like these guys were all forwards. Played well against Hawthorn, to be honest. All right, let's go to Durham. Here. Averages of 60, 19 disposals, 3 tackles, 3 claims, kicked 1 goal. Let's see if we can go. And Durham. Let's see what his heat map was like. Was it a was it he was playing on a half flank, and it was another wing roll, half forward flank moving up the wing. So once again, playing against Hawthorn, there's going to be a lot of teams where some big scores can be got. They are sure. such a bad matchup or good matchup for teams. And Hawthorn, North Melbourne, West Coast, Crows, Richmond love letting teams score points. These teams are just going to be where players absolutely play their average, and we can't take anything from them this early in the season. Uh, Mitch McGovern, I really do like, and I did think about putting him in the team because he's playing that role across half back, which is the cut-off defender. The only problem is his body is always giving up on him at some point, and I just can't. I had him last year, and he burnt me while Will Brodie went off, and others around that mark went off. Just can't pick the bloke. Lever probably inflated a bit. I'd say by the fact he probably got some kick-ins because Stephen May didn't play, I'm pretty sure. On that. Oh, he didn't even get any kick-ins. That's interesting. But yeah, I guess he was just playing as a cut-off half back, which is interesting because you think Stephen May would actually free him up a little bit. I guess the problem with Lever is he's never really been able to keep up a full year scoring. He has shown glimpses scoring, but he's never been able to do a full year where he goes. I mean, he goes 80 to 90, which is probably all we want. Oh, he has gone 90 before, but last year was a 68. And when that was the premiership year, was it the 2021? Yeah, premiership year because 2022 Geelong won. Yeah, 2021 was premiership year. He was playing at his best. I think he did come off an injury this year. Start the year didn't get a full off season, so maybe that's been the difference this year. He's come in a bit fitter, and that's made all the difference. But at the moment, we're going to probably pass on Lever, pass on Hardwick, although he could be getting the same type of slice with the ball as what Sicily's getting. Tomlinson, this was probably directly because of those kick-ins not being as much for him. Because if we look at Melbourne again, because May's not there, Tomlinson did get 6 kick-ins with only 67% play on advantage percentage. So maybe if May wasn't playing, but we would have had to have that in the first round when we knew he wasn't playing rather than now. Finn Callanan, now this is actually a very interesting one. If he gets named in the midfield, I think I'm going to pick him. That's actually a potential to be put in because and who will we be trading down? I mean, I'd like to see another week of all these boys. That's the issue. But we could trade down Wanganeen Miller because Finn, I think we'll make these decisions next week. I don't think we're going to have not enough trades to trade out in 1 week because I think that that's like 5. We might look to trade out next week, but like Fogarty will just wait a week and then upgrade him the next week. I think Pros have got a good run of games at home, so that might be something we stick with. So I think that outside of that, yeah, Callanan, like he could go big. They are playing West Coast, and he does look to be getting some more midfield time. For now, from what we have seen is that a lot of his disposal was very efficient last game, which really inflated his score. And we kind of want to see if he's actually going to get a little bit of a change in where he's playing, especially with Perryman out. Maybe he can take some more CBAs, but he didn't get any on the weekend, and that was with Whitfield, Kelly, and Perryman going down. So if he's not getting them, then is it going to get better? The coach has said it's going to get better, but I'm not so sure. And Zerk, Thatcher, and Josh Wood. I think we stay away from Josh. He was a bit painful last year, but he must be looking a little bit better now. But last year did hurt us with his down games. He could show an up game, but he did have quite a few down games as a rookie. And Zerk Thatcher, I'd say, is another one of those ones that's just come off the fact that they're playing against Hawthorn. He's a bit freed up and had a bit more chance to get out and get the ball. So I guess that's just some thoughts for the team and some mid prices. And before you go jumping on some of these guys who have scored good, kind of having you think about it. Now, the ones that we didn't missing mention of Horn, Francis, Wiedering, and Siebel, who are already in the team. Now, Horn Francis, if I was, for me, he's not in my classic team, my other classic team, but I'm waiting another week to see what he actually goes like. I mean, Collingwood's probably a little bit of a good matchup for him, but I want to see more than 1 week of 136 JHF, but you never know. Maybe the new team is all he needed, and that's what's going to change for him. Wiedering, I don't think you can bring him in against Geelong. I think it might be a bit painful for our team, but that's what it's going to be. Cheese was one I'm guessing on. Well, not guessing on. I kind of want to wait 1 more week and just see if they don't change up his role or how he actually goes against a good team. Fremantle should be a good team, so be interesting to see if he can keep scoring at the rate he has. And Zeeble, I do really like. The problem in a normal classic team is his injury risk. You know, if he didn't have injury risk, I think he'd be in everyone's team. But the reason his price is so low, well, he went back to the forward line last year, but it's also been due to injury. So anyway, that's just some thoughts for now. I think we're set with what our ruck change is going to be. As far as a VC option this week, I think we discussed in the last one, but I'm thinking I will probably. I'm probably going to just risk it on Horn Francis and see if he can go hard against Collingwood. If not, Setterfield's got a nice matchup against Gold Coast. They won't tag. He should be free to run around as he wants, and I think he can score really well. So anyway, if you have got to the end of the video, thanks for watching. As I said, first week, bit of hard stuff, but we're getting there, and I think we're not really going to be able to make a huge amount of moves right now, but come a couple of weeks, that's when all the changes are going to be happening, and we're going to start looking to climb up those ranks. So if you enjoyed it, leave us a like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Do you think I should be changing the strategy up a little bit? Maybe I should be attacking a few other players, or maybe reevaluating the way. Maybe we should be just getting rid of Fife and Foggy now and going hard on those trades. I mean, that's what people in their normal classic teams would be doing. They'd be getting rid of these players out. I'm just thinking we've got enough money that maybe we can sit on these players a little bit. But at the same time, we do have to hump points. If we lose more points, we're going to fall further back. And I think people were scoring 1,800 last week and just getting in the top 100,000. I guess our issue not getting to that was because of a captain, but it does show the amount of people who had really high scores. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next video.